Note: please be gentle and kind. It's been an emotional roller coaster over the past 2 weeks. I'm taking care of myself, I'm learning how to be stronger and stand up for myself. I've been in individual therapy for 9 years. I'm asking for gentle support. Thank you. Unbeknownst to me in 1992, when I was 16 and met T, he was still madly in love with and still seeing his first and only love, K. He was 15½ when he met her, she was 19 and already in a long-time relationship with another guy. She had a sexual and emotional year-long affair with T. He fell hard for her. She led T to believe she would leave her longtime boyfriend for him. She broke up with T, got married to her longtime boyfriend, and it shattered T's world. This happened 2 years prior to me meeting. When I met T, K was married and had a baby, possibly T's. T continued to have an emotional and physical affair with her on a regular basis. None of this was disclosed to me. When I met him, he told me he was single. I had no reason to doubt him. We dated, got engaged, and got married, all the while he continued the affair with his first love. He never stopped seeing K. His affair with her went on for the 2 years we dated and the first 6 years of our marriage. K moved away from the area, but T still carried the affair on emotionally and stayed deeply in love with her until present day. I suspect they had contact over the years as well. T did all of this to me without ever truly loving me. He admitted this just recently. He never was committed to me. He said he felt what he was doing wasn't breaking wedding vows because it didn't specifically state the exact situation he was doing with K in our wedding vows. He admits he married me out of obligation, fear, and for appearances. He manipulated me to make me think he loved me, was attracted to me, for 35 years. He had sex with me, had children with me, all for appearances and to make him feel and look like a good upstanding man. I was used, mistreated, taken advantage of, abused. He groomed me from the age of 16, only used me for his own ego, to keep up the appearance of a kind, loving, devoted husband and father, a family man. But he was anything but devoted and anything but in love with me the entire time. He admitted that he met me, he wasn't into me. He made himself get into having sex with me, he made himself go through the motions of being a husband. When I met him and all throughout our marriage, he sounded sincere and told me he loved me, and I said was the one for him. He showed up physically by providing materially for our family. He was present and supportive when I was sick. He permanently tattooed my name on himself when we were engaged, without me asking him to do so. Outwardly he showed signs of being in love with me and devotion to me. But in reality he was just putting up with me, going through the motions. He would tell these things to Kay over and over for years, crying into her arms. I was just someone to keep him warm and help him get off occasionally, but only when he wanted it. I wanted to do so much for him because I genuinely loved him. He was the only one for me, I didn't desire anyone else. I enjoyed seeing him happy. I cooked meals for him, cleaned, wrote him notes, did laundry, made our house welcome and inviting, thought about him, complimented him, opened up to him, was honest and upfront, provided everything for him sexually. Even though he didn't want to have sex with me, he would tell me he was tired, or stressed out, or something else. He always had some reason for why he wasn't in the mood. I was always the initiator, and he often wasn't interested even when I'd initiate. I recently found out it wasn't because he was tired or stressed, it was because he never really was turned on by me. He was only turned on by me when I brought another girl to our bed for a threesome or took him to a strip club. During those times he was turned on by me. He never really had feelings towards me, he simply wasn't in love with me. He thought of me as a mom to his kids, a woman he just lived with. At first he blamed his feeling of not being attracted to me on my weight or my appearance. But that wasn't true, because even when I was thin he wasn't desiring me. I wasn't ever someone he desired, no matter what I looked like. That is, until I caught him in this web of deception and all of this was disclosed. That was 2 weeks ago. Now he says he looks at me differently and he sees me for the first time ever. He says he no longer loves his first love Kay, he sees her now for how she used him, and because of that he only wants me. He's turned on by me sexually for the first time ever since meeting me 35 years ago. These are all things he's admitted to me. He says he realizes he is 100% at fault, and he sees his attachment issues and trauma, he's taken accountability, he's going to therapy. But it's difficult for me because I am still in love with him, I never stopped loving him, I believed him at his word, even though his actions felt differently. I didn't think T was capable of being dishonest with me, until he slipped up over the summer about an insignificant event he had told me about in the past. It was then I realized he was capable of lying and withholding truth from me. Had he not slipped up, I would still be in this ignorant state and he would still not truly love me or be attracted to me. However, I would always feel something was off, I always questioned his love, desire, and attraction for me. I always felt his words didn't line up with his actions, but I didn't trust my intuition. I always felt that I was overthinking, I was too needy, too dramatic, and hard to love. It's difficult for me because T never would have told me any of this. He would have stayed madly in love with K, and continued to go through the motions with me, and I would always be questioning why I wasn't enough for him. I feel like I've been a bench warmer for the past 35 years and now he's decided to pick me. And I'm naively jumping up saying, oh good, it's finally my turn. I finally see my worth and there was nothing I could do to make him love me or desire me. This was all his trauma and attachment. I feel like if I jump up and run to him because it's finally my turn, I am sacrificing my self-respect and dignity.